Hi everyone, and thank you so much for watching my channel, The Witty Turtle. In the last class, we had completed the fundamentals of queuing model, like what do you mean by arrival process, what do you mean by service system, and what is the meaning of queue structure and everything, right? So in this class, we are going to study what are the operating characteristics of a queuing system. Hi guys, Unacademy has extended Unlock 20 offer till February 19th, that is today. So you can get a 20% off on all kinds of Unacademy subscriptions if you use my coupon code Anvesha10, and you have to do it as soon as possible because the offer is going to end today night itself. Recently, the results of CA examination for all three levels have been declared, and many of the students have cleared it with flying colors. So, on this occasion, Unacademy is providing a limited period offer of 10% price drop plus 10% coupon code discount starting from 11th of February 2022 for all the three levels of CA exams. For CA Foundation, you can get the Plus subscription for 4 months at rupees 8,910 only, and likewise for 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months of subscriptions also. Similarly, you can get qualitative classes for CA Intermediate by getting the Plus subscription of Unacademy for 4 months at rupees 10,692 only. Also, there is a combo offer for CA Foundation and CA Intermediate for 12 months and 24 months at very reasonable price, which you can already see on the screen. You can also get the classes of CA Final Group 1 and Group 2 as a combination and also individually according to your plan. And trust me, these are the best deals, these are the best offers you will ever come across. The prices which you can see now on your screen are already at a discount of 10%, and if you want to get again a 10% discount on them, then do use my coupon code Anvesha10. So don't wait for more and get your subscriptions done today itself. Simply download the Unacademy Learning app and get your subscriptions done today. Coming back to the video, so when you are given with a queuing system and you have to analyze it, then the study is dependent upon many characteristics. Like the first one is queue length. You have a queue, right? So you need to identify what is the average number of customers who are waiting in the queue to get their services, right? So what is the average number of customers? So in this case, if the queue length is more, that means there is poor server performance. The server is not able to perform as per the need, right? The server is not able to cater to the needs of the customers. And if you have a small queue, that means the server capacity is very high, right? This is a common sense. अगर queue में ज़्यादा लोग हैं, that means queue जल्दी आगे नहीं बढ़ रही है ना? Now the next is system length. So what is the meaning of system length? The average number of customers in the system, those waiting to be and those being serviced. So system length का मतलब होता है कि how many people are waiting in the queue and how many customers have already been serviced, right? So the total number is known as system length. So if system length is very high, that means there is congestion. बहुत compactly लोग वहाँ पर queue में खड़े हैं, and that might lead to customer dissatisfaction, right? And there is also a potential need for greater service capacity. And if the system length is very high, that means you really need to increase your service capacity. Now the third characteristic is waiting time in the queue. See, the average time that a customer has to wait in the queue to get service is known as waiting time. Like how much time the customer is waiting in the queue, the customer is standing in the queue so that his turn comes and he will get the service, right? So if long waiting times are there, then that means obviously the customer will be dissatisfied, right? And which will ultimately lead to potential loss of future revenues. While very small waiting times may indicate too much service capacity, right? If you have small waiting time, that means the capacity of your server or the capacity of your queuing system is very high. Now the next characteristics is total time in the system. So what is the meaning of total time? For example, if this is a queue, so when the customer enters the queue and when the customer leaves the queue by getting the service, that is the total time. The average time that the customer spends in the system from entry in the queue to completion of service. Large value of the statistics are indicative of the need to make adjustment in the capacity. Obviously, if the customer has to stand in the queue for a quite long time, that means the capacity of the system is not very good and it definitely needs some improvement or adjustment. Now, the fifth characteristic is server idle time. So, see the relative frequency with which the service system is idle. So time is directly related to cost. We know that idle time is directly related to cost, and obviously how frequently your customers are standing in the queue, ideally, right? How much idle time they are spending in by standing in the queue. कितना कितना वक्त वो लोग ऐसे ही बर्बाद कर रहे हैं क्यू में खड़े होके. So that is server idle time. So but here again, if you want to reduce the idle time, that means that is again going to put adverse effect on the above four characteristics. So there must be a perfect trade-off between all these five characteristics in the queuing system, right? Now the next topic that we are going to study is characteristics of waiting line, right? So there are a lot of queuing models from which an analyst can choose, like which is the appropriate model for their kind of production. So what are the main characteristics depending upon which the analyst can choose his kind of queuing model? The first characteristic is population source, whether it is finite, whether it is infinite. Then number of servers or number of channels. Then arrival and service patterns. And lastly, queue discipline, that is the order of service. So after studying all these things, we will understand this diagram, right? So here the first topic is what? Population source. So what do you mean by population source? While analyzing any kind of queuing problem, you know, like what is the potential number of customers, whether it is finite or whether it is infinite. The pool of people that you have, the total population that you have, is that finite, is that limited, or is that infinite or unlimited? So in an infinite situation, infinite source situation, what happens? The potential number of customers greatly exceeds system capacity. That means when you have an infinite source of population, like you can get your customers from anywhere, right? So in that situation, what happens? Generally the potential number of customers, like estimated number of customers, exceed the system capacity. If your system has a capacity of 1000 customers, then you might receive 1500 or 2000 customers, right? So that is known as infinite source. So where does such source exist? Whenever service is unrestricted, right? आप जो भी service provide कर रहे हो, if that is unrestricted, like if it is open to everybody, so in that case what happens? In that case you might get infinite source of population. What are the examples? Like supermarkets, then drugstores, then your banks, restaurants, theaters, amusement parks, and toll bridges. These are the examples. Now again, theoretically, large number of customers from the calling population can request service at any time. Obviously, so आपका जो calling population होता है, that means your potential customers, potential consumers who might buy your product. So they can request a service at any time, right? क्योंकि सबके लिए जनरल ऑफर है यहाँ पर, वो लोग कभी भी आके उस चीज को ले सकते हैं. So they can request for the service at any time. So when the potential number of customers is limited, there is a finite source situation exist, right? तो अभी तक हमने क्या समझा? what is the meaning of infinite source? Now we will understand ki what are the situations where finite source situation exists, right? So when your potential number of customers is limited, so we call that finite source situation. For example, the repairman is responsible for a certain number of machines in a company, right? एक कंपनी है जिसमें कुछ machines हैं, so the repairman is responsible for those machines. Now the potential number of machines that time cannot exceed the number of machines assigned to the repairer. Obviously वो पर्टिकुलर रिपेयर करने वाले को जितने मशीन्स अलॉट किए गए थे, अगर उससे ज्यादा मशीन्स उस टाइम पर खराब हो जाते हैं, सो व्हाट हैपेंस, वो दैट पर्टिकुलर रिपेयरमैन विल नॉट बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट, राइट? सिमिलरली एन ऑपरेटर मे बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर लोडिंग एंड अनलोडिंग अ बैंक फॉर 4 मशीन्स, राइट? सो यहाँ पर कुछ कुछ उसी के ही एग्जाम्पल्स दिए गए हैं कि आपका what are those situations where your population source is finite or limited, right? Okay, now the next characteristic is number of servers or channels. So ये तो हमने पहले ही पढ़ा है, right? कि सर्वर और चैनल इन दोनों को synonymously हम लोग यूज करते हैं, and there are 2 important things. The first one is capacity of each server, and also the number of servers those are being used, right? So the terms server and channels are used synonymously, and it is generally assumed that one channel, right, one channel or one server can handle only one customer at a time. So these are what? These are single channel system, right? One channel can handle one customer at a time. So here systems can be either single or multiple channel, right? We know that systems can be either single or multiple channels, और एक channel एक ही time पे एक ही customer को handle कर सकता है. If you look at this diagram, then you'll be able to understand that. See, here we have 3 customers. This is a single channel, single phase, and we have a single server, right? So ये customer, this customer is going here, then his service is being completed and he is going out. Similarly, again the second customer will go for the service, then he gets the service and he goes out. Like this the queuing system works, right? So here also there are multiple examples of different kinds of variations of queuing system, right? जैसे कि for example we can take the example of ATM मशीन में क्या होता है, क्यू में लोग खड़े रहते हैं, अपना काम खत्म करते हैं, निकल जाते हैं. Similarly, what is this? Single channel, multiple phase. You have only single server, but you have single servers established at multiple phases. So here what is happening? One the first customer is going, he is getting the service, and again he has to go and stand in the second queue, and again he has to go here, and after getting the service he is going out, right? So this is what? Single channel, multiple phase. Next is what? Multiple channel, single phase. You have multiple channels or multiple servers, but you have only single phase. So you have 3 customers, so they can go here, here and here. They have 3 options. They can go to either of them. So we can take the example of service centers of vehicles. And इसका क्या एग्जाम्पल होगा? The best example for this is a bank. बैंक में फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू आर गोइंग, आपका ATM कार्ड बंद हो गया है या फिर कुछ ऐसा हो गया है, एंड दे आर आस्किंग यू फॉर अ KYC. सो व्हाट आर यू डूइंग? First you are going and asking like my ATM card has been blocked, what do I need to do? Then they are asking you for submitting your KYC. Then again you have to go and stand in the queue, you have to get the form, and after that what you need to do? Again you have to get the services, right? So इसका एक example हो सकता है बैंक में. Then the next example is what? Multiple channel, multiple phase. We have also read this earlier, right? So multiple channel, multiple phase में क्या होता है? You have 3 customers and you have 3 channels or servers. So at a time they are going at one channel and they are getting their services done, right? And now what they are doing here, they are again they have to stand in the queue and again they have to get their services. यहाँ पर क्या था, सिंगल चैनल मल्टीपल फेज था, यहाँ पर मल्टीपल चैनल मल्टीपल फेज है, राइट? Okay, now what was the next characteristic, that is queue discipline. So queue discipline, what is the meaning of that? That means the order in which customers are processed, right? Whether it is on first come first served basis, or they are picking up the customers randomly, or they are choosing the customers with LIFO basis, right? So one of the most commonly used queue discipline is what? First come first served basis, right? So some of the examples of FIFO basis are banks, stores, theaters, restaurants, and many more. If you read this particular paragraph, then you can easily understand that, right? In these and similar situations, customers do not all represent the same waiting cost. Those with the highest cost are processed first. Obviously, those people with highest cost are processed first, and even though other customers may have arrived later. So this way what happens? This way the queue discipline gets formed, right? Now the next topic is measures of waiting line performance. So when there is an operations manager who is going to look after the who is going to evaluate the existing or proposed service system, then he has to look for 5 measures, right? What are those 5 measures? So they what do they do generally? They relate to potential customer dissatisfaction and cost, right? So the first measure is the average number of customers waiting either in line or in the system, right? Whether they are waiting in the queue or they are in the system, and what is the average number of those customers. The second measure is the average time the customer waits either in the line or in the system, right? How many customers are waiting, and on an average how much time they are waiting in the queue. Next is what? System utilization, which refers to the percentage of capacity utilized. See, if your system has 100% capacity, then what is the percentage of capacity that is being utilized? आपका अगर 100% है, then you are utilizing 70% of the capacity that you already have. That means your system utilization is 70%. The next measure is the implied cost of a given level of capacity and its related waiting line. What is the implied cost of a given level of capacity and its related waiting line? That means at a particular level, at a particular given level of capacity, what is your implied cost, right? And whether it is related to the waiting line or not. And the next measure is, the last measure is the probability that an arrival will have to wait for service. Like if a customer is arriving in the queue, that then what is the probability that he has to wait in the queue to get the service, right? Whether it is whether there is any like a 30% chance, or there is 60% chance, or there is 95% chance, right? So now out of all these 5 measures, we are going to study system utilization in a little bit elaboration. So what is it saying? It reflects the extent to which the servers are busy rather than being idle, right? वो लोग खाली नहीं बैठ रहे हैं, they are getting busy. So what is the extent that the servers are getting busy, right? So it might seem that the operations manager is trying to get 100% capacity utilization, but we know that practically it is not possible. Hypothetically or theoretically it might be possible, but you can't achieve 100% capacity utilization at any cost of at any point of time, right? So here it is saying that increase in system utilization are achieved at the expense of increase in both the length of waiting line and the average waiting time. Obviously, if you want to increase your system utilization, that means again you have to increase your waiting line, the length of your waiting line, like how many customers are waiting in the line, and how much time on an average one customer is taking while waiting in the line, right? So you have to again increase these two factors, which is not good, right? So if you increase these two values, then the utilization might approach 100%. But under normal circumstances, it is not possible. So now the question arises that what the operations management should do. So he should try to achieve a system that minimizes the sum of waiting cost and the capacity cost. Like how much cost the organization is going to incur while making the customers wait in the queue, and how much is their capacity cost, right? So the operations manager has to get a proper balance between these two costs. Okay, so today's class will be till here, and in the next class we will understand the queuing model, which is infinite source, and then we will jump to the numericals and we will start solving these. I hope this class has been an interesting one. And if you find this video helpful, then please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, The Witty Turtle, and also hit the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever I upload a new class or any informative video. Now again I would like to say that Unacademy का जो 20% off वाला time चल रहा है, that is going to end today. So without any further delay, just go and download the Unacademy app and just simply go for your respective courses and get your subscriptions done today by using my coupon code ANVESHA10.